This is a paid presentation of Martha Patterson, Certified Specialist in Estate Planning, Trust and Probate Law, Certified Elder Law Attorney by the National Elder Law Foundation. ElderLawMom.com, 855-ELDER-77. She is solely responsible for the content.
I'm Martha Patterson, and I'm your estate planning and elder law specialist, and I'm here to tell you that I can help you protect your assets and get help from the government to pay for long-term care, and you won't have to sell your home or leave your family without a dime.
People think they have to liquidate everything if they go into a nursing home. True? Don't people feel that?
People think that, and that's because the government hides the truth. They hide the rules that help you qualify for the benefits. You don't have to spend all your money down. They actually have rules that are hidden that enable you to qualify for these benefits both legally and morally. It's just nobody knows about them.
Let's talk about that. A lot of people think if they have a house, if they have investments, if they have a pension, if they have some sort of retirement fund, it's all going to go bye-bye if they go into a nursing home.
Yeah, well, the long-term care Medi-Cal program was actually designed for quote-unquote middle-class people. So it was designed to cover you when Medicare stopped paying. Medicare pays for up to 100 days. It was actually designed for middle-class people to qualify. So there are rules. I can help people keep all of their assets and qualify. Now, why can I do this? Is because those certifications, I have two certifications, one as a trust, probate, and estate specialist from the State Bar of California. The other is the National Elder Law Foundation has certified me as an elder law attorney. The reason why I got these certificates was not to brag, but actually because I spent the time making sure that I could learn all these secret strategies because I really wanted to help people, because it made me truly sad to see people spend all their money when they could get help paying for care. And I wanted to be able to have those best strategies to help people.
You called it a secret. Is it really a secret?
Well, it's not really a secret because nothing is secret. You can find all the information on the internet, and I can find it in all sorts of law books. The reality is that the government doesn't want people to know that they can qualify. So they don't tell you, they hide it, they make it difficult to find. That's why lawyers like me spend a lot of time, looking at the laws, finding the loopholes. That's what lawyers are here for. We find the rules, the ways that you can qualify without having to spend your money. If it was up to them, they'd let you spend all your money and then qualify. But if it's up to me, you don't have to do that.
So you need a lawyer to show you the pathway.
Yes.
And there is a pathway to get this stuff, but it's not easy to find. It's not like there's a map with GPS directions.
No, there's not. And in fact, the internet has a lot of misinformation. And part of that is California has its own very unique rules. All the other 49 states have really difficult rules to qualify. California has unique rules. And of course, if you look on the internet, you're going to get the rules for the other 49 states. You're not going to get California's rules. In fact, California's rules are a bit arcane and old. They are not easy to find. They're in lots of different places.
Whenever I speak to people about elder care, nursing home care, everyone says the same thing. You go into a nursing home, you got to spend everything. You're going to write a check to the nursing home for everything you've got. They're going to take everything you've got, and then you're dirt poor. And that can be avoided.
Absolutely can be avoided. So let me give you an example. So Betty, I just use the name of not the actual client because I like to keep my clients' information confidential. So Betty was a person, she had what they now call mild cognitive impairment. That's another name for Alzheimer's. That's a newer term. It's a little more politically correct. And she fell and broke her hip. And all of a sudden she gets into the rehab facility and she can't cooperate and follow the instructions to get back up and walk. Now she's going to be in that nursing home the rest of her life because she can't get out of bed and walk. So now here she is. she and her husband, he had a business, they had a rental property, they had an IRA, they had money in the bank. While using the rules, I was able to get her qualified for long-term care Medi-Cal. She was in the nursing home for 8 years. Her husband was able to keep all of their income with the strategies I used.
You offer a free strategy session. What's in it?
Okay, so my free strategy session answers all the questions you're going to have about how do I get help paying for long-term care? Can I qualify? Do I have too much money? It answers all your questions. Then what we'll do is we'll discuss your situation and give you an idea of the assets that I can protect for you, what government benefits you might qualify for, and give you an idea of what you could qualify for. Now there's no obligation. Now it's got a value of $450, and so I do limit how many of them I give away each month. Now the best part of this is you have no obligation to me. At the end you're going to have a good idea of whether or not we're a good fit. Now if you're ready to retain me, we'll then discuss the fees and the charges that you're going to pay based on your situation.
For your free strategy session, call 855-ELDER-77. Again, 855-ELDER-77. Call now to reserve your free strategy session. 855-ELDER-77. More from elder law attorney Martha Patterson coming up.
This is the Long-Term Care Minute.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, over 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. Every 68 seconds, someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And with the average cost of nursing home care approaching $9,000 monthly, what should somebody with Alzheimer's do to prepare? For some advice, we called on certified elder law attorney and best-selling author Martha Patterson. So Martha, what should people do?
Quite simply, there are little-known laws and techniques that allow you to create tax-free money to pay for long-term care. I discuss these options and more in my new book, You Are Not Alone, Living with Dementia, that I'd like to give you for free. Call now. The next 30 viewers receive a free copy of my book.
Call today to get your free copy of Martha's book, You're Not Alone, Living with Dementia. 855-ELDER-77. That's 855-ELDER-77. 855-ELDER-77.
There's a picture of my dad, and he's a veteran. So my dad was a World War II veteran, and most people don't know that there's a veteran's benefit specifically to pay for care. Now, if you're service-connected, disabled veteran, this benefit isn't for you. But if you served during a war, so that would be World War I don't know that there's anyone living from that war, but World War II, we still have World War II veterans living in Korea, Vietnam, and the Gulf War. There's a benefit, they've called it aid and attendance. It's actually an enhanced pension. So this veterans benefit, it's an enhanced pension, and most people call it aid and attendance because that's what it pays for. It pays for medical aid and an attendant, somebody to care for you. It pays for care in your home, in a facility like an assisted living facility, when you need assistance with your activities of daily living. So that's bathing, walking, going to the bathroom, eating, and getting in and out of bed. So if you need assistance with those activities, it's available. Now, you do have to become impoverished to get this benefit, and you have to plan 3 years ahead because they've imposed new rules to make it harder to get this benefit because they really didn't want to pay it out. But if you plan ahead, you can be legally impoverished in the veteran's eyes, but actually keep your money. So we have a strategy where we use a specific asset protection trust to protect your assets and qualify you for the veterans benefits.
So you take your own assets, you take your own money, your own investments, you put them in a trust, and the trust protects those assets while at the same time The Veterans Administration looks at you and says, you're impoverished and you're entitled to these monies.
Exactly. So this kind of trust, it's not your typical living trust. So how I explain it to my clients is this trust works like a treasure chest. You have to put the assets in the treasure chest. You have to close the lid and you have to lock it up and you have to get the key to somebody else. That's going to be your trustee. Now they have to be somebody you really trust, somebody that you know is not going to try and steal your money, because the only way to keep somebody from stealing your money would be going to court. So if you have a trusted child, then that trustee can hold that money in an asset protection trust. And with the VA, once we wait the 3-year, what they call penalty period or look back period, then you would qualify for the veterans benefit.
So this is a way for you to lock up your money so the government doesn't take it, and at the same time, the government looks at you and says, you're broke, you're entitled to this benefit.
Correct. They look, yeah, basically that's what they do. They look at you and they say you're broke because you've made the transfer. You've made it far enough back that they can't see your transfer. So then they look and they say, this is how much money you have. You qualify.
You need a lawyer to do this, huh?
Yeah, you would need a lawyer. So I have a picture of my dad. He was city attorney of Anaheim, and he died in 1973 when I was 16, and he was a brilliant man. He brought the stadium to Anaheim and did all the contracts. They still talk about them when they were renewing the contracts. Somebody contacted me about my dad. They still talk about how brilliant he was. However, even with his simple estate plan, a brilliant attorney needed help with his will, his trust. Now, this is a complicated estate plan. The reason why somebody needs to really participate in the elder law community is elder law attorneys are the only people really talking about planning for the Medi-Cal, or in other states they call them Medicaid benefits, and the veterans benefits. Other attorneys don't even know about these benefits. They don't even know they exist. They don't even know that there's such a thing as a trust that can protect assets for these benefits, because they're, perhaps like my dad, they're studying contracts and how to do them for bringing Angel Stadium to Anaheim. They're brilliant attorneys, but they don't know about this. So you really need to learn about it. There's a lot involved.
This is something you just don't find on the internet and you can fill out the forms yourself.
No, this is not something you find out on the internet and you can just fill out the forms yourself. Definitely not. I don't think that there are the forms on the internet. And people try and do it themselves, but you know what they end up doing? They end up giving away their house for $1. And that's the biggest mistake you can make in the whole world is, well, I'll give away my house and then I'll qualify. I'll give away my assets, then I'll qualify. Well, they do it wrong. And now you've given away your asset. Guess what? When you give it to your kid, it's theirs. It's not yours. It's subject to their spouse in divorce. It's subject to their creditors. It's not yours anymore. If you give them your house, they can go mortgage it, not pay the bill, and you get kicked out of your house. So you don't want to try this on your own. It's really pretty dangerous. It can have really horrible consequences, and I've seen that exact thing happen.
So it's important for you to know who controls your trust, who gets the trust, and what may happen to the trust in the future.
Absolutely. And in my office, one of the things I do whenever I do asset protection for my senior clients is I make sure the whole family is involved. And the reason why I do that is the majority of the people who come to me, they're older. Their minds may not be as clear as they used to be. They might have some dementia, some Alzheimer's. I want to make sure every member of their family is on board. Every member of their family agrees that Johnny is the trusted kid in the family, that Johnny isn't just out of jail and trying to steal his parents' money. I want to make sure everybody knows. I want to put protections in to make sure that somebody is watching out for that trustee, because my clients, as they age, they're not going to be able to watch themselves. Remember, they're sick, they're needing nursing home care. So I make sure and involve the whole family. I get my client's consent. Everybody knows who's in charge of what's going on. So I have the confidence of knowing that my client is in good hands and that we haven't snuck around behind anybody's back to, steal money or do anything nefarious, because that's the only way I can really be sure that what I'm doing is indeed the right thing for my family. Because if your kids all agree, you know that that we're on the right track.
More from elder law attorney Martha Patterson coming up.
This is the Long-Term Care Minute.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, over 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. Every 68 seconds, someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And with the average cost of nursing home care approaching $9,000 monthly, what should somebody with Alzheimer's do to prepare? For some advice, we called on certified elder law attorney and best-selling author Martha Patterson. So Martha, what should people do?
Quite simply, there are little-known laws and techniques that allow you to create tax-free money to pay for long-term care. I discuss these options and more in my new book, You Are Not Alone, Living with Dementia, that I'd like to give you for free. Call now. The next 30 viewers receive a free copy of my book.
Call today to get your free copy of Martha's book, You're Not Alone, Living with Dementia. 855-ELDER-77. That's 855-ELDER-77. 855-ELDER-77.
Tell me about the photo with your mom.
So my mom, she truly was my inspiration for everything I've done in my life. So she was widowed when I was 16. So my dad died from cancer when I was very young. So she, became my inspiration and also my favorite client. As I learned from mistakes of others and I learned more about estate planning, I was able to do everything I could, learning from the mistakes, in fact, one I'll talk about later, my in-laws made, to make sure that when 4 months before she passed away, she had a stroke. I had a plan in place where she fell down. We had a backup. She called him her junior trustee. We had actually my son. He looks a lot like my dad, so she always trusted him more than anybody else in the family as her co-trustee is a legal term, but her junior trustee, her backup trustee. He didn't actually do anything until she had the stroke. He learned from her where her money was, how she had saved up so much money to help him through college, how she had managed her money, and when she fell down, he was able to go to the bank, pay her taxes, pay her bills, take care of her, and it was like magic. We had also helped her get a widow's benefit. My dad served, he served in World War II, he was in the reserve, so there's a benefit that actually pays for health insurance for veterans. That's not a real common one that I do asset protection one, but when I hear of widows like my mom, she was a forgotten widow. They had forgotten to give her my dad's pension check as a reservist and this TRICARE for Life benefit. So she was not only my inspiration, but my client that was able to do that. And oh, by the way, all of her money, she's now gone, that she's passed on. I protected my inheritance, so my creditors can't get it, bad guys can't get it, and if my husband runs off with some floozy and divorces me, he can't get it.
Very good. Let me ask you this. A lot of people go to a lawyer to set up a will, to set up a living trust, but there are things that the elderly should do much earlier before they die.
Right.
What should they be doing?
Okay, so if you're elderly, especially if you're noticing a little bit of memory loss, you're losing your keys every other minute, those kind of things, you really need to plan ahead. You need to plan for what happens. So the traditional living trust takes care of what happens if I die. It takes care of avoiding probate and taxes, but it actually ignores what happens if I don't die, what happens if I get sick, what happens if I get dementia. So you need to prepare for dementia, because if you don't, your trust is going to actually fall apart. It will fail you when you get dementia because you haven't thought about what happens if I don't die. So you need to think about it. Do you want that co-trustee? We should have those co-trustees. We need a plan. Who's going to take care of you when you can't remember? That's really important. So we need that. And by the way, your traditional living trust, no asset protection. It does nothing to help you get any benefit whatsoever. Protects nothing. It only avoids probate and maybe estate taxes.
So you need to set up what kind of a plan? What's it called?
Well, so I have asset protection planning. I actually do asset protection planning specifically for planning for long-term care. So that's what I call it. I think there's other names people call it. I just make it clear so people know what they're doing. They're doing asset protection planning. They're planning for what happens if I don't die but get sick. What happens if I need care? How can I be ready for that? Ready for that stroke. How do I, have the trust so you're my mom? Your life goes smoothly. She planned for care. She did two things. She had long-term care insurance. There are new products that aren't use it or lose it. Maybe we have that. Maybe we plan for government benefits. We need a plan for how are we going to pay for care. That's part of the asset protection. We need to make sure that you have somebody to make those health care decisions for you. Who wants to be in the hospital? Just got that call. Somebody had a massive stroke. They were in the hospital, and guess what? They had no health care directive. Their daughter is frantic because she can't find out where her dad is because she's not the agent on health care, and they can't tell her because of the stupid HIPAA law that says that your healthcare information is private. So she doesn't even know where her dad is. So we need all of those documents, especially as we age. It's a day-to-day document you need. So if I get sick, once I'm 18, I'm a grown-up. Now you might not think of your 18-year-old kid as a grown-up, but they're grown-up. On your 18th birthday, the doctors cannot talk to your mommy. They cannot talk to your daddy. When you're married, you can be married 70 years. They can't talk to your spouse. It's because things are protected unless you have a health care directive that names the person you want to make those decisions. It's a big deal. So do you want to you get COVID-19? Do you want to be on a ventilator? You need to tell them if you don't want to be on a ventilator.
How old do you have to have one of these directives? You call it a directive? Is that the right title?
It's an advanced healthcare directive is its formal name. It's also called a living will, which confuses people because they think, well, I've got a living trust and a living will, but that's also one of the names that they call it. Actually, 18. On your 18th birthday, you actually need it. I made my kids do it, I know. I'm a lawyer mom, what can I say? My daughter, when she was 19, she fainted at work. Her friend called me. I had that directive. I faxed it to the emergency room, and now I could talk to her doctors for her. Well, she was 19. Her friend, they didn't know what they were doing or what to say. Thank goodness I had that because otherwise they wouldn't have talked to me. So you actually need it when you're 18, but certainly when you're 80, you need it more because you're more likely than a 19-year-old to end up in the hospital. But you need it so somebody can talk to the doctors so they know what you want. Do you want to be hooked up in machines? Most of my older clients go, no machines. Well, when I go through that, we talk about what does that mean? I think of all the documents, it's my simplest document, it's my shortest document. It's probably the one we spend the most time on, talking about what do you want? What does that mean? What does it mean to not be hooked up on machines? People joke, just pull the plug. Well, I wish it were that simple, but it's not. So I actually spent a lot of time understanding ventilators and how they work and artificial nutrition and hydration, how it works, so that I can help guide you through those decisions in your family when they have to make those decisions through those decisions.
This is the Long-Term Care Minute.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, over 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. Every 68 seconds, someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And with the average cost of nursing home care approaching $9,000 monthly, what should somebody with Alzheimer's do to prepare? For some advice, we called on certified elder law attorney and best-selling author Martha Patterson. So Martha, what should people do?
Quite simply, there are little-known laws and techniques that allow you to create tax-free money to pay for long-term care. I discuss these options and more in my new book, You Are Not Alone, Living with Dementia, that I'd like to give you for free. Call now. The next 30 viewers receive a free copy of my book.
Call today to get your free copy of Martha's book, You're Not Alone, Living with Dementia. 855-ELDER-77. That's 855-ELDER-77. 855-ELDER-77.
You offer a free strategy session. What's in it?
Okay, so my free strategy session answers all the questions you're going to have about how do I get help paying for long-term care? Can I qualify? Do I have too much money? It answers all your questions. Then what we'll do is we'll discuss your situation and give you an idea of the assets that I can protect for you, what government benefits you might qualify for, and give you an idea of what you could qualify for. Now there's no obligation. Now it's got a value of $450, and so I do limit how many of them I give away each month. Now the best part of this is you have no obligation to me. At the end you're going to have a good idea of whether or not we're a good fit. Now if you're ready to retain me, we'll then discuss the fees and the charges that you're going to pay based on your situation.
Very good. About how long does this free strategy session take?
So it's an hour is how much time I give you. Now, occasionally I have somebody who, really has a lot of questions, or they didn't realize that they really wanted to have their family involved, and because they're ready to go ahead and move on and they want all those decision makers. So I actually typically in those situations, I give them another free session that we schedule so that we can actually proceed with our planning. The first session is really, question, answer, get to know you, get to know for a good fit. It's kind of designed so you can really get to know me and decide if you want to work with me. And I can get to know you and your situation and make sure I can actually help you.
For your free strategy session, call 855-ELDER-77. Again, 855-ELDER-77. Call now to reserve your free strategy session. 855-ELDER-77.
I'm here to tell you that I can help you protect your assets and get help from the government to pay for long-term care, and you won't have to sell your home or leave your family without a dime.
This was a paid presentation of Martha Patterson, California specialist in estate planning, trust, and probate law, certified elder law attorney by the National Elder Law Foundation, elderlawmom.com, 855-ELDER-77. She is solely responsible for the content.